New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Scott Singer is the former mayor of Boca Raton, Florida, and a Republican candidate for Florida's 25th congressional district. He joins us now. Scott, thanks so much for being with us. It was this ad by Zohran Mamdani that really ticked off one of the biggest business leaders who's got a place in New York. This is Mamdani talking about Ken Griffin. Listen here.
I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax.
All right, so this was Ken Griffin's response to that ad. Listen here.
It was creepy and weird.
Agreed.
I mean, like, knock, knock, knock on the window. Like, huh. Mayor of New York City.
So now a $6 billion development project that Griffin was about to launch in New York City, maybe on hold, maybe going out the window. Mamdani and other leaders in New York shooting themselves in the foot here, Scott?
Absolutely. And thanks for having me. It is ridiculous. It's what he said he would do. Voters foolishly fell for. And you're going to see more jobs and capital flee from New York. We knew about this in June. That's why we started aggressively marketing to try to attract more jobs to our city in Boca Raton. And Florida continues to grow. We've seen $1.3 trillion of income over the last 11 years flee from other states into Florida. And Ken Griffin responded this week by saying they're doubling down in Miami, just outside of the congressional district I'm running from Miami Beach to Boca Raton. So if they have bad tax policies in New York and other states and they think capital's not going to flee, they're sorely mistaken.
Scott, I mean, when asked, he doubled down, even as he faced a lot of blowback for that. Mamdani posted this. I said I was going to tax the rich. Tap, tap, tap on the glass. We're taxing it. I'm thrilled to announce that we're securing a pied-à-terre tax. Like, maybe he needs to be told that he's no longer campaigning. He won the election.
Well, I think it's more important than that. When he says he's thrilled to raise taxes without reason on people who are already paying taxes and aren't using the services, like a pied-à-terre, a second apartment, it just goes to show where his motivations are. As mayor, I tried to lower taxes as much as possible. We lowered the tax rate 7 straight times. We were proud that we had the lowest tax rate of any full-service city. Bragging about raising taxes, that's anathema to me, to so many other mayors who are part of the America First Policy Institute Mayor's Council, and the hard line of what Americans want. The core of Americans don't want higher taxes and bragging about raising taxes.
So, you know, when a lot of business leaders looked at New York and said, this is not going the right way, we're headed out, and they went places like Florida, Miami, like Ken Griffin's company did, although that move was from Chicago, but he was thinking of building in New York City as well, and going to Texas, Tennessee, other states like that. I remember Governor Kathy Hochul said, that's fine, get out of here. Don't let the door hit you in the tuchus on the way out. Well, listen to what she said then and what she's saying now.
Just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town. Because you don't represent our values. You are not New Yorkers.
Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded.
I mean, come on. She's get out of here now. No, please come back. Please come back. Which is it?
It's just crazy. But, you know, you should have seen it coming, Governor. People are fleeing. They're voting with their feet. They can move capital. And when you have an attitude of government is there to tax you and be punitive about it, that's the result that's going to happen. We need a government like President Trump has had, the biggest tax cut in American history. We need to put more money back in the pockets of hardworking Americans. We need to value job creators and innovators. That's what we've done in Boca Raton. That's what we're doing in Florida. And the states that continue to do that are going to have wins. The states like New York and New York City that are going to keep taxing and bragging about it are going to have continued losses. They're in for a real mess of trouble.
You know, somebody's got to tell him. I mean, got to tell Zohran Mamdani, Kathy Hochul, all the money that you're promising to spend, it will go bye-bye. And these billionaires will take their ball and they will go home. They have other places that they can go, including Florida, that is going to welcome Ken Griffin with open arms. Here he is saying that, hey, you know, maybe we'll double down on Florida. Listen.
We need to double down on our bet in Miami, because we want to be in a state that embraces business, that embraces education, that embraces personal freedom and liberty, and that embraces people having an opportunity to live the American dream.
And that embraces success and doesn't demonize it, Scott.
Absolutely. Those are the values we should be trumpeting. They're the American ideals: hard work, opportunity, individual responsibility, and great potential. And when the governor is saying, if you share these values because you don't want to pay more taxes, then you should leave, she's out of step with these American values. It's just ridiculous. And it's not just billionaires who are going to leave. It's not just millionaires who are going to leave. We have the middle class. We've got the upper middle class. We've got professionals who now can do like I'm doing, interviewing with you from across the country and moving the jobs. The jobs are not as static, and they're going to continue to flee to jurisdictions like this. And in my community and in our District 25, where I'm running, we've seen a lot of inflow of capital and high-paying jobs that are improving the standard of living for everyone.
Yep. Socialism is based on using other people's money, but it looks like there's going to be less and less of that in New York City. We'll keep following it. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.